Another topic, another video. In this one, we're going to talk about the significance of our user journeys and how their completeness outshines that of any before and after and other lesser testimonial that you may come across. Stay tuned. Have you ever gone on an amazing trip and wanted to share the memories of it with someone via pictures that you had taken? I have. I'm sure most of us have. Whether they include memories on board the flight to your destination, lounging inside the beautiful hotel room you stayed in, dining at your favorite spot, or if you're anything like me, capturing that last moment of fun through a group photo or selfie right before heading home. The thing is that all these captured memories help to complement the story of your amazing trip and also help to more clearly illustrate it from beginning to end. What's fascinating is that our user journeys do the same thing. The photos that we compile of a user's hair growth experience help to complement their story and clearly illustrate it from beginning to end. In essence, this type of work gives life to the testimonial and in effect garners a completeness that other forms of lesser testimonial, including before and afters, cannot compete with. Some ways in which our user journeys are more valuable than lesser forms of testimonial include that 1, they are more informative, 2, exude worth, and 3, exhibit trustworthiness. Let's talk about some ways in which our user journeys are more informative than lesser forms of testimonial. When I speak of being more informative, I mean the information that can be gathered from the photos at face value. If we relate back to our example of the amazing trip, we can gather that the more photos you share, the more clearly illustrated the story becomes. Now, I don't mean so many photos to the point of picture overload. Too much of anything can be bad. But what I mean is just enough photos to help complement the story and add value to it. Value by how they make it easier to follow along, or how they allow someone to infer things from the story that you might not have mentioned, or even by how they can allow someone to feel like they were part of the experience. Our user journeys definitely make a user's hair growth story easier to follow. When a user of our hair loss solutions starts growing their hair back, the pictures do a great job of showing you what's going on. In doing so, they can allow the viewer or somebody else to feel like they were part of the experience as well. As curators of Aid, we've gone along many user journeys with people. That is, we started, continued, and ended their hair growth experience with them in person. Although this type of experience is one that not many people will get to partake in, we do our best to actualize it through the documented photos and inclusion of the individual's hair loss backstory to give you the most complete story that we can offer. What's great about this is that many things can be inferred from the photos as well, most notably confidence gradually or having finally been regained. For example, in one journey, we noticed that after the user had achieved phenomenal progress, they started dressing nicer at each follow-up shoot. We took that as a sign of them becoming happier with their appearance. In another hair loss champion's journey, we noticed that initially they didn't want to smile or look at the camera. It was amazing though that at the end of their journey, when they had grown back all their hair, they did the unthinkable. They actually looked up and smiled at the camera. Now that was one experience that I will never forget, and I'm pretty sure that anybody else who had witnessed it as well, it left just as an indelible mark on their heart as it did with me. But the thing about it though is that if I hadn't had mentioned that to you, and you looked at that journey, you would be able to infer something very special happened at the end of that journey. That individual's confidence, that their happiness had been regained. When it comes to before and afters, that is one before picture or video and one after picture or video depicting a final result, they're not very informative, and in reality, they're not even stories. They're just a quick show and tell of a supposed success story of someone having grown their hair back with no trail of evidence about how they got there, no roadmap from A to B to C to D and so on. Being that they're not journeys, we can't even say that they help to make a user's hair growth story easier to follow. What if in between somebody got a hair transplant and they failed to mention that? So much is unshared. And can we say that much can be inferred from the two photos? Sure, that someone supposedly grew their hair back with the solution being sold. But the thing is that our user journeys do that and so much more to be able to help strengthen that claim. User journeys are much more informative than lesser forms of testimonial, including before and afters. They present more pictorial data and thus more clearly illustrate a user's hair loss to hair growth experience. Much more information can be attained from this type of work. It allows the user's hair growth experience to be more easily followed, can allow someone, such as the viewer, to feel like they are part of the experience, and permit more valuable inferences to be made. Before and afters fall very short against all these criteria. In reality, their lack of information should raise questions about the authenticity of the work and the product that they represent. If a company or brand is selling a product that's truly worth it, you would think that they would put the extra effort into collecting and presenting more informative results to praise it. Speaking on that, a well-documented journey or testimony can in fact suggest something about the worth of the product that they're selling. Which leads us into our second reason why user journeys are more valuable than lesser forms of testimonial. They exude worth. Do you know that those photos that you took to complement the story of your amazing trip are actually doing so much more than just more clearly illustrating it?